chronic pain, the inner demon, back with another one. In this one, you're going to hear Hassan Campbell crying as usual. Questions been asked by other people, and he's crying about the Bombarda situation. He's very adamant about people like Jay Prince and other people. He went at Jay Prince very hard, but he can't do the same for Bombarda. Bombarda is still walking around. So yes, folks, let me know what you think about Hassan Campbell with this interview with DJ Academics.
I go home to my wife and my kids. Sure. That nigga right there had the power, especially when I came home from jail. And I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Like real. When I came home from jail, I wanted to kill everybody. Like,
stop there, folks. When Hassan came home from jail, he wanted to kill everybody. But yet still, when Hassan came home from jail, he went to protect Bombarda, African Bombarda, the man he claimed molested him. He went and, as from what he's saying, they caught a body together where African Bombarda was the getaway driver. These are things that he says. You know, Hassan Campbell, all these smoke signals, that shows that, mental illness is a hell of a thing.
Some real shit. My brother, no.
Look at his friend sleeping.
He could have sat up there and said, "Dude, get him." I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not lying to nobody. When I cry and you see me cry, like there was so many niggas. Even still now, I be mad at this nigga. Like, why you ain't let me get that nigga?
Nobody stopped him.
I don't give a fuck. That I wanted to kill.
Nobody stopped him.
Now. Like, why these niggas?
Folks, do you remember what Charleston White says on DJ Academics? If Hassan Campbell wanted to do anything to African Bombarda when he came home from jail, allegedly, from these bodies which, you can't prove, he just lie every time, why didn't he go and kill African Bombarda? But yet still, when he came home from jail, he went over to African Bombarda's house where African Bombarda took him shopping, and then they went and did the wild thing. You see what I'm saying? So you can't call that molestation when you're in a relationship. So quite frankly, what Charleston White says kind of makes sense. This seems like more of a relationship than somebody taking advantage of you. So speak the truth, because that's what you came up off, and it came up on, on YouTube. So just let people know the truth. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, just leave him. Just let him. Nigga. My brother stopped me from killing a lot of niggas. A lot of niggas. I cried. Like, now, why we letting this nigga?
Folks, that's a lie. And that's coming from a narcissistic person, because he had a relationship with African Bombarda. And I guess, when he grew up, he hated it, or maybe he realized that, maybe this is not what I want to be. And he just started to hate himself and hating, the person he became, and everything just become a blame game. So listen, what you're seeing right now is an outburst of a psychological person with psychological issues that really needs some type of psychological help, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? This is what we're seeing. So, folks, all these subscribers are in his, chat rooms and whatever. Try to circle around him, try to help him, trying to find, some peace and also some closure to what he had went through. Even though it seemed like it was a relationship, in my opinion, and also Charleston White's opinion, it seemed like it was a relationship, because the way it just flourished over the years, after 16 going on to 37, 38, you're still with the man, whatever the case may be. So I don't understand that. And number two, why didn't you press charges on African Bombarda when you had all the chances to press charges? Even if you didn't kill him, you say you were a killer. Why didn't you press charges and send him to jail? All these things are very suspicious. You see what I'm saying? So when you're crying, these tears are a dry cry, dry tears. I don't feel nothing for these type of tears. You see what I'm saying? I really don't. I'm sorry.
A lot of niggas, a lot of you niggas, a lot of you niggas, they let you niggas, a lot of you niggas, niggas let you niggas, they let you niggas go. And I be sitting up there crying like, I got kids to take care of now. I got a wife and family to take care. But sometimes a nigga be wanting to be that nigga. Like, I'm not who you think I am. And I don't give a fuck about the jury or anything else. Because shit was taken away from me in these streets. And there's a lot of foul J-Prince shit that I've seen go on. That I won't speak on. Because I still debate on taking niggas' lives. And it hurts.
Stop for a second there, folks. Yes, it hurts. This man had a relationship that went to, sour. It didn't last, from what his expectation was. Look at this homie right here, in the brown, cut-off sleeve vest and the red. He seemed like he's bored to death, But yeah, it was a relationship that didn't really blossom. And I think this man was hurt, and he's still hurt from that relationship, and he's bitter from that relationship with African Bambaataa. And this is what you see from a bitterness in a relationship. I was married for over 30 years, so I do understand the bickering and the bitterness. And this is what you see flourishing from Hassan Campbell on YouTube. And people pay attention. This young man, he's the master manipulator. Just be careful, because he prey on people and use sympathy. And you have to be mindful of certain people. They're very narcissistic, and I'm being very realistic. Because these things happen. You see what I'm saying? They do happen.
I've been in situations where I've seen niggas that I love die. And can't nobody take that. And I ain't gonna talk on certain things because certain things was just too real. But a lot of things my brother said no. And I had to respect it. It ain't easy going down a righteous path.
Folks, just think about this for a second. He said his brother said no to all who he claimed molested him, right? But at the same time, in his own words, his brother was the first person to molest him. So if he pardoned his brother, pardoned African Bambaataa, he pardoned everybody else. So apparently this man was just in a gay fling relationship or a swing relationship, growing up, living the illusion, and then he got hurt. You see what I'm saying? That's just pretty much what I'm seeing. So just speak it like it is. Tell the truth. We'll respect you for the truth. It is what it is. I respect everybody, and I love, I have love for everybody, Hassan. But let's come correct where we can understand you, because what you're saying and what you're portraying is a lot of misunderstanding, also illusion. So just come correct. For people who have sense, we want to make sense of all these things that sound like, some of them sound like they're nonsense. So please, come forward and come truthfully.
I don't never want to look his mother in the face and explain to her how my big homie B.O. died and now her son died the same way, and I was responsible for T-Mac dying. After Bam did 30 years in jail. His brother.
Wait a second. Did African Bambaataa did 30 years in jail? Or maybe 30 years in music and 30 years in spanking these young boys, Hassan Campbell and the others. No, African Bambaataa he was never in jail. He lives in Brooklyn, walking around freely. Today, as I speak, in February, February 9th, 10th, African Bambaataa lives in Brooklyn. I don't know what Hassan is speaking about, but hey, let's try to follow and make sense of it.
Explain to his mother how I put him in the same situations. Certain situations, I'm gonna be honest with you, if it wasn't for my kids and my family, my team, I don't want to be Hassan Campbell.
Folks, back again, because I just want everybody to know the truth, Hassan Campbell claimed he was molested before he started having kids, in his young age or whatever. That's what he claimed, with his relationship or whatever the case may be. Then he came to have kids. So Hassan Campbell could have took care of what he had to took care of back then before he started having kids. So when you're gonna come and say you have kids and you can't do certain things or whatever, that's nonsense. You know, a person violated you, you could have like sent him to prison back then by speaking up and let the law know. Or if you want to do a vigilante get back, you do whatever you want to do. I don't condone that, but I'm just saying I understand it. You know, so come on, you know, don't do that. You know, because for the youngsters that are listening, you know, do right and speak right. You know, let them understand. You see what I'm saying? You cover up your relationship, what you have with Bambaataa. You see what I'm saying? And it kills you. And now you want to portray yourself as a gangster, you know, and you realize, you know, that relationship and the gangsterism doesn't really tie and coexist, you know, into each other. So now, you know, you're frustrated mentally and physically, and you're also fatigued, you know, from what I could see. So seek some therapy. You know, that's just what I could say psychologically, and hopefully that could help you, Hassan. Let's keep going.
I feel like I got some get back to get. Now I understand the little niggas in the street. And that's the shit that have a nigga breaking down crying. Cause these niggas would never understand the caliber of beef that I had in these streets.
How guys wouldn't understand, you use the N-word, but I'm not gonna use that. How guys wouldn't understand the caliber of beef you have in the street. You don't have no beef in the street. You, number one, you wasn't a real drug dealer. You wasn't a drug dealer. Number two, you wasn't a hitman. Number three, you wasn't a number running guy. Number four, you wasn't in the freaking mob. You know, so what kind of beef you have in the street? You see what I'm saying? All these things are just an illusion on the internet for people to gather and consume. And for the ones who are consuming this, I hope you try to make sense of what this guy is saying, you know, and just look at him. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. You see what I'm saying? Let it make sense, folks. Let it make sense.
Niggas is playing tag. We was playing Russian roulette. We ain't want to live. So if you die, we ain't give a fuck. And that's the difference. But when you become a man, we all came to this place together. His mother, his father. Like, how am I going to explain? I made a dumb decision based off of my ego that he can't go home. I know, God forbid, my mom's is gone. When his mother go, we gonna stand there together and bury her. Cause if he's in jail when his mother died, what he gonna feel about me? If I did some dumb shit and he had to hold it down, yeah, you a real nigga, hold it down, nigga. Yeah, I ain't gonna snitch. But nigga, I missed my mama's funeral. Cause you wanted to prove that you was a tough nigga. This is what you gotta evaluate when you dealing in these motherfucking streets. If you ain't street, stay the fuck out the streets. Alright. Pussy feel good, a job feel good.
Folks, from what I gathered, Hassan Campbell is not streets. He's a wannabe streets. Hassan Campbell, when he was young, quite frankly, seemed like he had an entanglement with African Bambaataa, and I guess African Bambaataa pushed him aside, and he felt like he was rejected, you know, and that also brings on psychological issues. You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm sorry that, you know, things didn't work out the way he wanted it to work out with him and Bambaataa, you know, as their relationship is concerned, but he's still hurt and broken over the same relationship. So Charleston White, what he said the other day on DJ Academics makes a lot of sense. It was a relationship, because look at this man. He is still broken over the one relationship he had in the past. Now he move on and he's married and they have kids. Why can't he just move on and talk about what he have now, his flourished relationship and everything? Why African Bambaataa relationship have to be always the one that, you know, the burden? Because he didn't fulfill what he was supposed to fulfill. He claimed, that's what he came to YouTube and said. He claimed this person violated him, number one. Number two, he didn't put this person in prison because number one, Hassan Campbell, he said this, he was underage. So underage, this man would have been in prison. You know how the law works in America. So he didn't speak up. And then he returned to this man's house, okay, on more than one occasion for the same type of shindigs. You know what I mean? For years on and years on to be. Then he grew up to be a man, you know, and then he went to prison. He came home. He went back to this man's house for the same type of shindigs. This man took him shopping, all that type of stuff. So I guess he's all broken because now if you're rejected by this man, maybe he found somebody younger and Hassan Campbell feel heartbroken and rejected. I get it, bro. Speak the truth. I understand it hurts. Cry it off. But then when you talk about people like Jay Prince and them, don't forget you have your own demon that you're fighting, that you haven't closed that chapter yet. You need to close that chapter on your demon before you start talking about other people's demon. You see what I'm saying, Hassan Campbell? That's why you cry so much on YouTube, because you don't have closure to your demon. Close your demon, Hassan Campbell, before you take on somebody else's demon. That's why it hurts you so much. Chronic pain, the inner demon. Like, share, subscribe. One love.